Hello and welcome back to Chill Phil Gaming. I'm glad that you're here. We kind of take it easy here. We keep it chill. We calm down. I'm in some comfy clothes and some slippers. My dog is sleeping in the background. It's a drizzly day. It's kind of dark outside. And so we're in a calming mood. And if you are too, you're in the right place. So I hope that you can find this as kind of a way to kind of relax and chill out and calm down. Whatever you're doing today, whatever stresses are in your life, I hope this is helpful. If it is, leave comments in the comment section, let me know. I want to hear about it, and give a like and subscribe, and come on back to Chill Phil Gaming whenever you need to calm down. We're gonna get right into it. I am really interested in the fact that Earth and the moon, though you look out your window, you look up into the sky and you see the moon right there. Almost feels like sometimes that you can just travel to it, or that you could see if there was any sort of movement on the moon, that you could see that. And I just feel that way sometimes because it feels so close. But the reality is there's a lot of space between Earth and the moon. And we're gonna find that out right here today, because the Earth, while there's 8 planets in the solar system, the Earth is one. So they can fit all 7 planets between the Earth and the moon. And we're gonna look at that simulation in Universe Sandbox today, right now. This is a great simulation. So the Earth and the moon at the largest orbit, because none of the orbits are perfectly circle, at the largest orbit between the Earth and the moon, where there's the most amount of space between them, you can fit every single one of our planets from our solar system in between. We're gonna start right here. This is such a great simulation because it really gives us some perspective here. So we see Earth, and we see Mercury, which Mercury is just a little bit bigger than the moon. So if we saw Mercury instead of the moon in our sky, it would just be slightly larger. Mercury is about 0.4 times the size of the moon, and Earth is like 0.3 about. So we're gonna zoom in here, as we can see. So this is just slightly bigger than our moon, Mercury is. And now we see Venus, which is slightly smaller than the Earth, and then Mars, which is slightly bigger than Mercury. And then we see our massive Jupiter. And there is the red spot, the big storm that is about 2 times the size of Earth. So you can fit about 2 Earths in there. And this is cool. So in the simulation, because we're so close together, the rings don't count, right? So all the rings are smashing into Jupiter right now, the bottom of Jupiter, and then it's slanted in such a way that it's just hitting just the top of Uranus, and it's missing Neptune, which good for you, Neptune. You just missed some destruction. That's good for you. But yeah, as we can see those rings going, and then back here we have Neptune, and then our tiny little moon. That sometimes looks big in our atmosphere, or just, it's not in our atmosphere, but it looks like it is sometimes. And it's actually this far away. So we'll go to the middle here. You can fit every single one of them. And one of my favorite things about that, new discovery for me, I know this game has been around a long time, but a new discovery for me is that we can look at things kind of perspective from the surface of things. So if we go to Earth, and we click on Earth where we want to land, we hit the letter C on the keyboard, then we're looking from the surface up, and we can see how big things would look. If this is how we looked up into our sky, we saw Mercury, we saw Venus, and we saw, whoa, massive Jupiter. And yet our moon is so far away still, right? So we hit C, we come out here again, and our moon is so far away. So if we go over to Jupiter here, and we can even land on Jupiter, even though I don't think that this is possible because it's a gas planet. But if we hit C, then it gives us the perspective from Jupiter as well. And we see, boom, we see Saturn. We see nothing else because we see Saturn. Let's move down here to where things are crashing in. Let's see if we can see the rings from that perspective. So if we click here and we hit C, can we see some rings crashing into us? Okay, it doesn't show the rings from that perspective, and that's fine. I wish it did, but it doesn't. And then let's go over here. Ooh, that is nice. Oh, we do see some of the rings, I guess. We at least see where they're crashing into Uranus. if we speed up time here, we're not going to see orbits because we're locked to keep the simulation of the planets in between the Earth and the Moon, but we're going to see some rotation if we speed up here. Okay, and we do see some of the rings coming in. That's another thing you forget, is there's a lot of space between these particles in Saturn's rings that sometimes they're hard to see when you're so close. But when they're far away, they look like one big solid ring, but that is not the case. But as we can see that here, we're seeing some rotation, and we're rotating on Saturn. So we're rotating kind of, in our perspective, this downward direction. And so we're seeing a bit of a, instead of a sunrise, we might call it a Uranus rise or a Neptune rise. And they're creating a ring of explosions for Uranus, which is very interesting as we've sped up here. And at some point, the rings are probably going to be all gone because they're going to have run into either Uranus or Jupiter, and they're going to be all gone. So we're going to like maybe slow this down a little bit. Okay, so let's jump off Saturn. Yep, there's lots of destruction happening right now with these rings, but it's very beautiful. And so anyway, this is kind of what I wanted to talk about, if you're with me here. And this is what we do in this channel. We relate Universe Sandbox to our own lives, and we start kind of on a meditation, how can we work this into maybe something, a lesson we can learn for our own lives that would be helpful, and that we can kind of meditate on. This reminds me of how I tend to look at life, and sometimes how anxiety begins to be a part of my life, how I let it kind of consume me sometimes, and how that is. I remember a time when I don't do this anymore, but I did this one time with a friend who knew how to remodel a bathroom. I don't know how to remodel a bathroom. That's why I needed my friend, but he offered to do it for free, and that was very kind, and he loves doing it. I don't know, he loves doing it. And so we were remodeling a bathroom at our old house, and because the shower was leaking, we thought we just have to do the shower. We just have to tear the shower out. What we found is, after we removed some of the flooring, that the subfloor was all wet, and that all needed to be replaced. And so we needed to bring up all the floor. And in order to do that, we had to bring up the sink, we had to bring up the toilet, and our bathroom was in shambles. And it was taking much longer than I expected. And I just wanted to get to the goal. The goal was, let's call it the moon. I just wanted to get to a finished bathroom. And we're at Earth. And we had to do all the things. And there were so many things in the way to get to the goal. The goal seemed so far off because, the toilet was gone, the sink was gone, the flooring was gone, there was no shower. And so we had to do so many things in order to get there that I just wanted to be right at the moon, and I could not see. I didn't know all the steps. It was like I was looking at it from here, and I could not see all the steps to get to the moon. Well, my friend who has done this before knew all the steps. He was looking at it from here, from this perspective. And he's like, oh, we just have to do this. We just have to replace the subfloor, then put in new flooring, then get a new sink, put in a toilet, we have to whatever, all these things. And so, he was able to offer me this perspective, all the steps. And in order to get to the moon, we had to take it one step at a time. And I saw all this in between, and it caused me anxiety. And he's like, oh, we just have to do this. The next right step is to go to Mercury. The next right step is then to hop to Venus, then Mars, then Jupiter. And hey, we're almost halfway there. And so he saw all the steps that it took to get there. And when I looked at it that way, just do the next right step. The next right step. Don't look at everything that needs to happen in order to get to the end. That's overwhelming. That causes anxiety. The next right step, and then the next one, and the next one. Before you know it, you're halfway there. Before you know it, you're almost there, and then you're there. And that helps me with my anxiety. Another way that I look at anxiety, sometimes it gets in the way because, like say the moon is something in the distance that I need to do, that I know is coming, it's looming, maybe a test, maybe taxes, maybe whatever. And I look at that and I go, oh, that feels so anxious because I have to do all these other things before then. But the reality is, by the time you get to the thing that you're most anxious about, these other things will be done. And these other things will not be occupying your brain anymore. Only this thing will. That's another way that this has helped me kind of keep things in perspective, is that You may see everything happening in your life or everything looming on the horizon at once. And the reality is they don't happen at once. They happen one at a time. By the time you get to where you need to go, these other things aren't even part of the picture anymore. And you can solely focus on this one thing. So you don't need to focus on that thing if it's not urgent. You just focus on the urgent things. And by the time you get to the thing that you are most anxious about, it does feel less anxious because these other things are gone. And that has also been a way that this simulation has helped me reframe my anxiety a little bit. And I hope it has with you. And I think as we finish off this video, we zoom in here, let's find a place on Jupiter. Let's see if this works. If we can click on Jupiter and hit C and look off and see our rocky planets. And we are gradually rotating. It looks like this, from this vantage point, we're rotating downward. And so what we're gonna see is we're seeing a Mars rise. Once we pass Mars, we're gonna see the other ones behind it. And we're gonna focus on, as this soft music plays, maybe the steps that we need to take in order to get something done, or all the things that are in the way that come first before the big thing that you're anxious about. And you just focus on the next one. The next one is all you need to focus on in both scenarios. By the time you get to where you need to go, if you took every step to get there, by the time you're there, it's not that bad because all the other things have come before. And that can keep us from getting too anxious about things. I've turned the camera in such a way, now it looks like things are setting a little bit. And we're seeing here a Mars-Venus set, kind of like a sunset. And then we're gonna see our lovely Earth behind it. And Mercury at some point, but let's focus on those things I just talked about as we listen to this calming music. There's Earth coming over Venus. And deep breaths really help me, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the circle that's focusing on Mercury is a little weird, but I don't hate it. It's kind of relaxing. We could see Earth cast in darkness. The nighttime, we see some of those lights coming up. It's quite beautiful. And how amazing it would be to be in a ship or on a planet or on the moon, looking back and seeing Earth. This is a vantage point many of us will never see. Gives perspective that we are all one. And we should care for each other. And here comes our Mercury out of Venus. What a sight that would be. And with that, I want to end this video. I want to say thanks for joining me. Leave comments in the comment section of what you liked about this, how I could do this different or better. I want to know. I need to learn from this. I need to grow from this. And I really appreciate you being here. If you like this, if you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe, Chill Phil Gaming. And yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. It means so much to me. Until next time, keep it chill. I'll see you later. Bye.